Dynamics 365. Transform your sales process with Dynamics 365 for Sales Copilot. Hi, my name's Andy Nathan. I'm a senior client partner at Beyond Key. I'm joined here today by Rahul Gopi, who's our Dynamics 365 expert. Hamad Jabatham, who's our technical lead, was unable to make it today. But thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Rahul, for joining us as well. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
So, and as we get started, I just want to get an idea because the best way to help us understand how to help your organization is we're going to be asking some questions. So, I have a quick poll question that I want to ask. How can we help your organization enhance your sales process? So, I'm launching the question right now. Just gonna give people about 30 seconds to fill it out. Essentially, what are you looking to do with your organization to enhance your sales process? Are you looking to prepare for prospect meetings better, automate sales processes, improve customer communications, enhance internal team communications, or analyze your sales process? Let us know. I'll give it another 10 seconds. Okay, cool. I see we have a good mix of answers. So with that said, I'm gonna just dive into the call for today and what we're gonna be discussing throughout the webinar for the agenda. So for those of us who are joining, thank you for joining us. Again, I see people are still coming in. First, before we even dive into dynamics, the first thing we're going to discuss today, we'll spend about 3 to 5 minutes on that, is who we are at Beyond Key. We want to give you an idea of who we are so you have an understanding of how we could help your organization use Dynamics 365 and Copilot. Step two in their agenda today is we're going to talk about the biggest sales challenges, the things that help that are challenging to salespeople and sales teams, and how we can help overcome those challenges, which leads us to number three, which is Dynamics 365 Copilot, talking about an overview of what Dynamics is, what Copilot is, and how it could help your organization. Number four is going to be business application use cases. We're going to cover two different industries and how they're starting to use this new technology to help their organization grow and be more successful. Number five is going to be a live Dynamics 365 demo. We're going to show you how to use Copilot across your organization in Outlook, Dynamics, and Teams for better use so you could help your sales process. And sixth and finally, we're going to do a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. Now, that said, Rahul is monitoring the Q&A on Zoom. So if you have questions, don't wait until the end of the webinar. Please feel free to ask your question at any time. We're just going to repeat those questions at the end because we want to make sure everyone has the best information by the time we leave today. With that said, let's talk about number one. Who are we? Beyond Key provides software development and solutions for organizations around the globe to help them improve their business processes. We have a number of different offerings that we help companies with, but we help them structure it in a few different ways. The first division that we help them with is Beyond Internet, which is our Microsoft 365 division where we help with SharePoint, Dynamics, Power Platform, Azure, and other Microsoft 365 tools. As you can see, we are a Microsoft Solutions partner here on the right-hand side. We also have Beyond Voice, which helps with voice and vision solutions to help with things like AI, machine learning, NLP, and other tools like that, which definitely cover a lot of what we do with Copilot. In addition to that, we work with over 150 satisfied clients and growing, and we've been in business for over 18 plus years. And we have over 300 plus global experts that work in our organization, including a global office presence in Chicago and Indianapolis, along with delivery centers in Indore, Pune, and Hyderabad in India, as well as other people in Japan, Canada, and other places as well. With that said, as I mentioned, we are a Microsoft Solutions partner. Furthermore, we are, in terms of data, since we talked a little bit about data today, we are a Snowflake Service Select partner, and we are ISO 2701 2022 certified, which is the cybersecurity certification. So for those of you who are very concerned about what happens with your data, what happens with your online presence, we're very concerned about making sure everything is secure. Also, we've been certified for the fifth year in a row as a great place to work. And as you can see, I mentioned we have 150 satisfied clients and growing here, just a few of the companies on the bottom right that we work with right now. With that said, we do have a global clientele base in the United States, Canada, Mexico, Europe, Middle East, India, and Australia, just to name some of our global partners. We have clients also across multiple industries, including but not limited to healthcare, retail, banking and insurance, real estate, e-commerce, nonprofits, ISVs, construction, manufacturing, consulting services, logistics, and tourism. So for this webinar, I mentioned earlier that we definitely encourage you to ask questions. The best way that we could customize this webinar for your specific needs is for you to ask questions. So if you have a question, use the Zoom Q&A at the bottom of your screen. That said, just a few caveats here. First, we understand that we're going to be repeating those questions at the end, but we do not share your personal information. As I mentioned before, we're ISO certified. We believe in security. We're very much about not sharing your personal information, but we want to make sure everyone has the right information. Plus, we feel by sharing this in two different methods, we're helping with whatever learning style that you have as well. So whether you want to see a visual answer written for you, or if you want to see a verbal answer that we can repeat at the end, we're giving you different ways to interact with the information, with your questions. You get the best information and learn as much as possible what you need to go back to your organization about how to use Dynamics 365 for Sales Copilot. So with that said, let's talk about number two. What are the different challenges sales professionals and organizations are facing today? First thing that a lot of sellers are facing is that they're spending too much time on administrative duties and not administrative and non-selling duties. So think of it this way. You're a sales professional, you want to grow your business. What do? Well, first you start getting in front of a few clients, and at that point, then you have to create the proposal. Then you have to create reports on who you're talking to. Then your manager's going to start asking you for other information. You have to start doing research on that. Maybe you're researching your prospects before you start talking to them to find out more information about your prospects so you're more prepared. Definitely good stuff to do, but it takes time to do all this. If you're spending 70% of your time on administrative and non-selling duties, that means you're only spending 30% in front of clients. How can you grow your business if only 30% of that time is in front of actual clients? So with that in mind, we want to make sure we're able to help you with this to resolve some of these problems. By the way, the sources for this information is from Salesforce and Microsoft. Furthermore, a lot of organizations have started using technology tools, but what they're finding is that sales reps feel like they're drowning in those tools because the average organization is using over 10 plus tools between the CRM, your calendars, your lead generation forms, if they have any analytics tools, and so on and so forth. It goes down the list. There's a lot of different tools. Just trying to make sure they all work together can sometimes be a challenge. What you'll find is that you're often duplicating your efforts on multiple channels if you have to enter in that information multiple times. Furthermore, not only are you spending more time preparing for prospects, you're also probably expected to support your current customers and accounts. That's why 79% of sales reps felt that their expectations for the number of supported customers and accounts increased over the past year. Because the expectation is that you're going to grow those accounts, so you have to spend more time with your current accounts. But if you're spending time with current accounts, how do you grow new accounts? It's a double-edged sword. So there's a lot of challenges from a sales professional's perspective on how to make sure you're able to manage this process. But that's not all. Well, wait, there's more. There's also customer expectations, obviously customer first. In fact, 54% of customers say most companies need to improve their customer experience. That's a large amount. Basically, one out of every two customers that you talk to are going to say your experience wasn't as desirable as it should have been. Furthermore, customers not only want companies to have a good experience, they want you to respond faster. And this, by the way, is nothing new. Customers always want to get answers as fast as possible, but especially in today's age where they get instant answers, they really want it faster and faster and faster. Furthermore, Not only are they expecting a good experience and they want it fast, they also want a personalized journey. So instead of just getting information that says, "Hi, Mr. Smith," we want to have it, "Hi, John. Hi, Todd. Hi, Kevin. Hi, whatever your first name's going to be," because you want to make sure that you're giving the right experience for the right person. It's not just about their first name, it's also about, even though that's the sweetest sound they've ever heard, it's also about making sure that you're making sure that they feel heard throughout that process. Finally, 32% of customers will walk away from a brand they love after one bad experience. Think about that in perspective. This is not just people who've never heard about your brand. These are people who love your brand. They will walk away after one bad experience. And we've all had those bad experiences that I will never go back there. It's so easy to make sure that that bad experience, it's so easy for that to happen. It's so hard to make sure it doesn't happen. And that's what we really have to work on today, is making sure that those bad experiences don't happen to customers. So how do we do that? Well, the first step is we need to improve time management, because one of the things that sales professionals also said, and again, this is coming from Salesforce and information from Microsoft, is that 64% want improved personalized customer engagements. The ability to improve those personalization, as we mentioned before, 87% of customers want personalization. So do sales reps. Most sales reps want to personalize those engagements. So everyone's in agreement on that. It's just, how do we do it? Furthermore, sellers indicated that they want to be able to complete their tasks easier. Not surprising, since 70% of their time is on administrative tasks. Remember, in an average 40-hour week, that means they're only spending 12 hours in front of customers. If they could have a way to complete some of those tasks faster, they can gain back some of that time. You're never going to gain back 100% of it, but you can definitely gain back more of that time, so you could have more time in front of clients. Finally, and this is where you basically have universal agreement, 97% of sales professionals believe AI gives them more time to sell when it's paired with automation. That's probably why you're here today, or at least part of why you're here. You understand that if you're going to be competitive in the future, you have to start using the technologies that are available to make sure that you have the advantage to complete those tasks faster and to personalize those engagements so you create a better experience for your clients. So with that said, before I even keep diving into everything, I want to ask one more question here, and that is, have you ever used Microsoft Copilot? Hold on one second, and I'm looking for the poll. Here it is. I'm sorry. So have you actually used Microsoft Copilot before? Yes, no, or you're not sure. And by the way, I just want to like state, if you're talking about Copilot, it doesn't have to be for Dynamics. You could use for Edge. You could use it for Word. You could use it for anything else. We just want to get an idea of where people are at. So yes, no, or you're not sure, because we definitely want to get an idea of where people are at right now, so we could have a better idea of how we could help you. Okay, great. I could see it's actually about 50-50 for yes and no. So very cool. By the way, whether you've used it or not before, that's okay. We're going to talk about it from both perspectives today. So let me just close out that poll. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about number three. Let's talk about Dynamics 365, and let's talk about Copilot. Before I dive into Copilot, I just want to explain what Dynamics is. Microsoft Dynamics is an enterprise resource planning tool which covers a broad range of modules, as you can see here. So there are a number of modules on the bottom, as you can see, things like Business Central, Finance and Operations, Talent, Project Service Automation, Retail, and MPOs, or Right Cause, which is our personalized service for nonprofits. You also have customer engagement modules. Those are sales or the CRM, customer service, marketing, and field service. For today, we are going to focus on the sales and CRM modules, or the sales or CRM module. All of these modules play a great role in your organization. And if you want to talk about the other ones at a later time, we could definitely do that. But we're going to start with sales today, just because we feel there's so much of an impact that you can make by improving communications in sales. So Why is that so important? Well, to understand that, we want to talk about what is Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is a generative AI tool that Microsoft developed based on some of the ChatGPT software. I'm assuming most people at this point have heard of ChatGPT. If you haven't, please Google it. With that said, Microsoft Copilot has a broad range of products, as you can see here, and they use it in things such as modern work, data and AI, browser and search, operating systems, and developer tools and business applications as well. What we're going to be focusing on is right here, mostly in this corner for business applications. We'll use a little bit of modern work with Outlook and Teams, but we're mostly going to be focusing right here on Dynamics and right here in the sales tool. So really, we're only touching on one small application here in Microsoft Copilot. It is such a broader tool, but just to focus this conversation today, because talking about Copilot for all the different tools get very extensive, we're going to focus on how you can use Dynamics 365 for sales with Copilot. Specifically, we're going to talk about the different features that Copilot has. So as you can see here, there's just giving you an overview of how Dynamics 365 works. By the way, for those of you who have not used Dynamics, if you want to use Copilot, I'm just bringing this up because I don't know if the people on this call are sales professionals or your sales managers. Usually the admin for your Dynamics account controls installation for Copilot. So you'll have to have some type of conversation with them. If they have any questions afterwards, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We could definitely do a 1 hour free demo call where we talk about how this works. But in terms of what Copilot does and why it's so important, it uses data. Specifically, it uses your sales data. So similar to how ChatGPT might use information from the internet, Dynamics is using data from your organization, which means the longer your organization is selling to other clients and to customers, and the more data that you have, and the more information you record in Microsoft Dynamics 365, the more information it's going to pick up to use to make smarter decisions and to help your organization. Furthermore, just to be very clear on security, again, security is very important because we want to make sure this is your client data. This is your prospect data. You want to make sure it's set up correctly. Admins can set up security roles via Power Platform. We're not talking about Power Platform today, but it is an amazing tool from Microsoft. One of the things you could do with the Power Platform is you could set up different security roles to make sure the right people have access to the right information in terms of making sure that everyone's getting only access to what they need, so there's less chances of a security leak. Furthermore, Dynamics integrates with the rest of the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. We're going to show you some of this today by showing you how it works with Outlook and Teams, but also keep in mind it does work with Power Automate and other tools as well. The reason I bring up Power Automate is because of the fact that Power Automate has about 900 integrations that work with the rest of the internet as well. So other tools that you can use, including APIs. Furthermore, there is some automation that we're going to talk about to help you capture customer opportunities and details in Outlook and also create emails as well. And then finally, for pricing, because I'm sure people are going to ask about this, there is a pricing, sorry, there is pricing for Dynamics for Copilot. If you don't have any version of Copilot already, it's $50 extra per month per user. So essentially, if you're using Copilot and you want to use this for your organization, you do have to pay $50 extra on top of Dynamics for sales. If you already have Microsoft Copilot license for your organization, it's only $20 per month extra per user. It is an annual commitment. So with that said, let's talk about the benefits of using Copilot for sales. Why would your organization use it? How can they benefit for your business? The first reason is it's going to help you analyze your prospects more effectively. So as you can see here, we're in a file on Dynamics, and on the right-hand side, it automatically starts getting lead information about that file. It pulls up all this information in a simple and easy to use method. Furthermore, you can also prepare your meetings more effectively. Think of it this way. You schedule a meeting You want to stay ahead on that meeting. You go prepare for sales appointments. It starts loading. You see working on it in the right-hand corner. And then you find which meeting you want to prepare for because everyone wants to prepare for your sales call. Remember that 70% that we talked about earlier? You click prepare. And at this point, what it'll do is it starts working on that call and it'll give you some bullet points to understand more of what's happening with your meeting. So you'll actually have physical meeting insights ahead of the call. Furthermore, you could also use this for automation. Remember, we talked about saving time, making your tasks easier. Well, one of the ways you do that is you could use this in Outlook. And by the way, this is a Copilot feature in Outlook where it drafts an email. Very simple. You type in what you want to talk about in that email. So you might not know how to phrase everything. You might not know what you want to do, but you have a general idea of what you need to discuss. In this case, we're going to send out a meeting request. You click a drafted email. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds to maybe draft that, which is much faster than we could do. And if you don't like what you see, instead of adding it, you could actually adjust it. Maybe you want it shorter. Maybe you want it more friendly. Maybe you want to suggest a meeting time. You update it, maybe takes another 3 to 5 seconds, and poof, you have a new email. All you have to do, click add to email, and it's ready. Finally, what if you don't want to just use this for improving your external communications? Taking that same email, we now want to set this up and add this to Teams so our internal team can talk about it. You could either set up a new deal room or existing team or use it or create a new team. And this way we use the same channel that we have right now. So that way we can connect with the people on our team to talk about this deal as well. You do have to change the channel name a little bit because of the fact that it's over 50 characters. Takes about 10 seconds. But what'll then happen is once you shorten this, you can now put follow promotions, and that information can then be available on Microsoft Teams as well as any Dynamics information tied into that client. So it takes a few seconds to load, but instead of having to go back and forth between Dynamics and Teams, you could have all this available right now in front of you. So these are just a few of the ideas that we're going to be talking about when we actually get to the demo, but I want to give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like as we go into the next phase, which is talking about the use cases, because by showing you what this looks like, it'll get you a better idea of how some of these organizations are now using Dynamics 365 for Copilot to help their organization improve what they're doing. The first use case we're going to talk about is a bank in London. And this organization wanted to connect their sales data across the organization. So we mentioned earlier that Dynamics 365 leverages data in your organization. That's really key because it's using all the information that you have to create better decisions for your sales team, for yourself as well, if you're a sales professional. So the bank had challenges because they had siloed data and they wanted to make sure they were combining everything on Dynamics 365 for sales and customer service. Remember, we talked about there's different modules. This bank had sales and customer service. So they were using Copilot to streamline all their interactions. Now, if you have 3,500 bankers in your organization, imagine how many interactions those bankers have had with clients on email, on chat, on phone. How much of that information is then recorded on Dynamics 365 for sales? How much of it is recorded in the customer service channel? All the transcripts as well might be in there as well. So they're taking massive amounts of data, putting it all together, putting it in Copilot, and then they start using this for a range of activities like drafting emails like we talked about earlier. Imagine drafting an email to a client and you're using the past emails that 3,500 different bankers in your organization used to create the best email for your client. It becomes a little bit more easier. You don't have to do it by yourself, but you don't have to ask other people for help because Copilot can do it for you. And they can create more empathetic communications than you might be able to do by yourself just because they know what works and what doesn't, because they've not only seen the emails that go out, they've seen the responses that customers had as well. The second use case that we have is for an insurer in Philadelphia. And so again, this is an example of combining the information. They wanted to integrate their data to prepare their sales teams for appointments. They're looking to provide smarter decisions. So what they did was they upgraded Dynamics for Sales Copilot to automate their sales process. What was happening was their salespersons learned more from the actions that were happening through the data there because they were able to review their past information. And because of this, they were able to make smarter decisions with everything that they were doing. Again, it's that same idea. The more data you have, the better the decisions you can make. I mean, you don't want to be overloaded, and that's kind of where Copilot comes in. Copilot doesn't just give you data. It's not like it's a whole spreadsheet of data. It collates it for you so you don't have to spend time thinking about it, and you can just review those past actions and see the summary to make smarter decisions in the future. So with that said, we've talked a lot about today about the different reasons for coming here. I want to get into the demo in a second. I just have a quick question for you. What motivated you to attend the webinar today for Copilot? Were you looking to close more sales? Were you looking for smoother communications, generate more revenue, better understand sales technology, or help your sales team? Let us know which of those was what you were looking to do. I'm gonna give about 15, 20 seconds. Okay. I see a lot of people are saying better understand sales technology. That's awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about that right now. So I'm going to end this poll. And also, in addition to that, we are going to jump out of the PowerPoint presentation and we're going to dive into uh, Dynamics 365 for sales. So, real quick, there is if you go into Dynamics 365 for sales, this is our sales hub. Keep in mind, this is a demo account. So you're going to see a lot of things in here that's using demo data here, but a lot of the information that you could see, you could get from your own organization. But if you do see information in here that looks like, hey, wait, some of this information might be a little bit weird, this is demo data, so obviously stuff that happened in 2017 is not fully named, but we're using demo data to give you an idea of how this can work. With that said, what we're going to do is to help you understand this process, I'm going to go into my lead section. So give me a second for this to load. I'm going to click in here, all leads. And I thought I did all leads. There we go. Sorry about that. So the first thing that happens is whenever it opens up a new person, you're going to see it start working on that information on the right-hand side. It starts literally summarizing as you're opening up the Copilot. Next, in addition to that, so it's not just about summarizing what's going on. There's also, in addition to that, there's questions that you could ask Copilot. So hold on one second. So if I want to go in here, there's a few questions that I could ask. So let me think. Maybe I want to ask, show my sales pipeline. Oh, you know what? I should have actually done that from the homepage. I apologize. I made a mistake. I don't know if it's gonna work from here. Keep in mind also, Copilot's still a little bit new. So there is still some stuff here that is we're still learning, but I'm going to go in here and show my sales pipeline. So maybe I want to know more about information than just getting information on one client. I want to have information on my entire one. It says in here, show my sales pipeline. It says working on it, and it'll take a few seconds to load, but once it does, it should look like I do have it up here. Nope.
And yeah, I think we can just reload it and ask it again.
Reload it. Okay. Thank you. My apologies if sometimes technology does not work the way it should be the first time. So show my sales pipeline. And by the way, there are some questions in here that they could ask you as well, just to give you some ideas of what you can ask. But in terms of this, you can see that there's a deal tracker here. Now, this deal tracker, by the way, uses the 4 different steps in Dynamics. So if you ever are going through Dynamics, there's 4 different steps that you have to go through in the sales funnel. I could show you this at the top when we go back into the leads, but there's qualify, develop, propose, and close. It's probably very similar to what a lot of people's sales process looks like. You might see a little bit of a difference, but this gives you a general idea of how it works. So essentially what I'm seeing here is I see all the different deals that have come in, the probability that they're going to close, and how big the deal is. So, for example, if I see qualify, let's say I want to see all the qualified, I want to remove all the qualified people, or I want to only show qualified, I could see that all the people who are unqualified, and I could also see when they came in. I could also, by the way, go in through here through a sales funnel and see this process as a funnel in addition to just a deal tracker. But I could also check here to see which ones are biggest. So for example, I see here I have if I just want to check oh, that was, if I only want to check the prospects that are ready to propose and ready to close, then I want to figure out which ones are the biggest ones. So I have 2 in here from June from this month. I have one from Northwind Traders, and then I also have one from Fourth Coffee. Now, Fourth Coffee is for $20,000. Northwind Traders is for $10 million. So now by visually looking at this, I know which deals are most likely. One, what's the probability that they're going to close, and also the size of the deal. That to me indicates I need to spend more time on Northwind Traders than I would on the Fourth Coffee. Not to say that there's anything wrong with trying to close both, but definitely focus on which one has the biggest revenue and which one's going to probably close. Same thing here. If I want to try and see where we're at, maybe I also focus on Inventure Works because this one has the most probability of closing also. It might be a little bit smaller than Northwind, but it still has a lot of value, and I could then maybe get that deal to close. At the same time, maybe I want to go into the develop stage. So obviously, I'm not going to spend that much time here on a datum because it's a very low probability of close and it's a low revenue deal. But what I will do is I'll probably spend more. That's another A datum deal. That's kind of funny. I will spend another on this A datum deal, which is $7.5 million. So now if I'm talking to the client about 2 different deals, I know which one to focus on because I know which one has the greater probability and the greater sales. And then you can go through the sales process to see where all of your deals are as well. So let's also go back. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back into the lead section here. Not only am I going to be able to take a look at the macro view of how the leads work, I want to also take a look at the micro view and actually work on this for individual clients as well. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go back in here to Catherine Cook from Alpine Ski House. At this point, I have all the information I have about Catherine. It's getting all the lead information about them. I could also ask additional informations. I could also ask additional information for her as well. Like I could say, what's changed with the lead? And it'll give me any information that's changing with the lead. There haven't been any information in the last 7 days. Is there any news for the account? It's giving me information, so I don't have to think about what to ask. Now, keep in mind, this is taking demo data. So you're seeing stuff in here that might not be 100% relevant just because of the fact we're taking demo data, but it's actually showing you news from Bing that might be relevant to Alpine Ski House. So it gives you all the information you need. Now, let's say I need to follow up with Catherine. So I'm going to copy this email address and I'm going to go into my Outlook and I'm going to create a new email. So I'm going to send the message to Catherine. I'm just going to say follow up. And this is what I was showing you, by the way, during the benefit. To get to that, by the way, that step, there is an add-in here in Microsoft Outlook. So I'm going to click this add-in, and you do have to add this in, by the way, to do this. So you have to download this on the Outlook App Store. And when you're going through here, and you can see there's a lot of information in here. The first thing I want to do before I even draft the email, I want to save this so I could track this. So I'm going to track this relating to this opportunity here for the SKU M1600 and M1650. So I want to just click save. And then at this point, I've now saved this. So it'll then track this in Dynamics. Remember, the more data you have, the better it is. And by actually writing these emails and tracking it to Dynamics, I'm creating more data to actually help me with future deals, not just this one as well. Then I'm going to go draft an email. Now, I have a meeting with Catherine tomorrow, so I want to confirm our meeting for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Are you good to go? Do you have any questions? So I'm just going to put this out there. It's kind of a basic generic message. I'm going to say draft an email. Like I said, this will take about 10 to 15 seconds to start preparing and drafting it, but this is way quicker than what I could have created. And it says here, confirmation of meeting tomorrow. So it's even better than my subject line. So I'm going to put in here, boom. And then I also have, I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to reach out to confirm our meeting for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Are you good to go? Do you have any questions? So it actually took some of the lines I had here. Additionally, I want to briefly mention our business opportunity regarding our Litware mouse M35. Looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. So I don't know what this is because this is demo data, but let's say I want to just shorten this to make this more concise. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to edit this. And by the way, I can make this longer as well, but I'm going to make this shorter. I'm going to make this friendlier. And then I also want to remind them that it's at 10 a.m., our meeting. And then I'm going to click update. And remember, we're doing this in real time. It's creating this. And then here we go. I hope you're doing well. Just confirming our meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Are you ready? Any questions? I don't, they spaced that weird. Also, I have a business opportunity regarding our Litware wireless mouse M35. I'm going to add this to the email. Maybe I don't want to talk about the mouse because I don't know what the heck they're talking about. So I could just delete that and you could edit this as you need, as you normally would. So again, I could take a look through here and at this point, I could then just say, I'm sorry, at this point, I could just click send. The other thing that I could also do at this point, hold on one second, I go to the right. I'm in the wrong sent box. So I'm going to reopen this. Now that I sent this out, let me make sure this sent. It's in out box right now. There we go. The email now sent. Now let's say I want to get prepared for the meeting tomorrow morning. So I'm going to reopen this email. And I'm going to reopen Copilot. One of the other features, and I could have done this also while I was drafting the message, but I just want to go back to separate this process so you see what we're talking about, is that I also can set up a Teams account to talk about the meeting ahead of time. So you can see the information down here where it says collaborate in Teams. Now, we already had created something in here, but if we needed to create a channel, maybe we want to create an account team for Alpine Ski House. We could click set up account team and we could create a team or use an existing team. This is what we were talking about before. But in this case, we already have that team set up for these products that we were talking about earlier. So if I want to go in there, I can open up my Teams account. And when I go into my Teams channel, I could use this, by the way, this is your normal Teams. This is if you're in chat. This is Teams. So when you're opening up Teams, similar to how you could set up a team for your marketing, so your sales, your customer service team. You could also have teams for specific products here. So this way, when we're working on something, you set up a specific product. And what I'll do at this point is I could say here, and you can see we did this already at the top. We do Copilot for Sales help. So what I'll just do this one more time just to show you how it looks. And then hold on. Did this wrong.
I think we can type that in the messages too, in the
Oh, I did.
actual message
This
canal
one.
too.
That's what I did wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna type in help, and then I'm just gonna click post. It takes a few seconds. And you can see here it's replying back. Oh, it should share this information. Essentially, this is what it'll look like once it actually loads. So it's taking a second to load. I'm just going to show you what we did previously because we created this in the past, so you get an idea of what it looks like. Essentially, it summarizes everything that's going on with that client. Also, you could, it says here, open in Dynamics 365 if you want to. But one of the other things that's really great is that you don't even have to open Dynamics. Everything is right here using the Viva connection. It actually opens up Dynamics 365 inside of Teams. So give it a second to load, but now everything that I want to see is actually right here inside of Teams. So I can see all the information about this product as well. And any information that I might have is now available. So that's pretty much it in terms of the demo. You can see here that we've gone through, we started with Dynamics, but we also have integrations with Outlook and with Teams. So what I'm going to do is, I know people had asked some questions. I'm going to go back in and Rahul is going to answer questions. Give me 1 second so I can go through. And by the way, if you still have a question, please let us know. All you need to do is go into the Zoom Q&A and ask your questions. With that said, let me go through the questions that we do have right now. Rahul, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
So first question someone had was, is it possible to show how many open and closed opportunities we have and how much revenue is generated from my opportunities?
Yes, definitely. So the Copilot supports natural language Q&A. So it is trained on the sales data. So we can ask questions like, show me all my open opportunities, closed opportunities. What is the revenue in the last quarter for my closed opportunities? So any detail you want to know about the sales data, we can form it as a natural language query and ask through the Copilot chat window, and it will definitely answer you.
Okay, awesome. And then, so I'm seeing another question here. Sorry, 1 second. Seeing another question here. Um, how does Dynamics 365 integrate with the rest of our tech stack? For example, we have a WordPress site that generates most of our leads, Calendly for our appointments, and Monday to manage our customer projects. How would this work together?
Okay, so D365 has a lot of tools available like the Power Automate plugins and the APIs to integrate with any other system. So for some of them, there may be direct integration available. So even if there isn't any direct integration for something like WordPress or WordPress and Calendly, we would definitely be able to build APIs or custom plugins around to establish a real-time integration, real-time updates with those systems.
Okay. And then how does the software comply with industry standards and regulations?
Okay, so the Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, where the Dynamics 365 is designed to comply with the industry standards and any regulations such as GDPR, CCPA, and Copilot being built on top of them also has that compliance. So any data that we enter of the Copilot on the chat or any of the users' data will not be used for training, and the data and the queries you ask for and the answer you get for the queries is tailored to the permission you have. So the Copilot is also compliant of the GDPR and CCP and any industry regulations that is needed.
Okay, awesome. And then, so what is a timeline for full implementation and rollout?
So most of the features that we showed today, like the lead summarization, preparing for the sales meetings, all that has already been rolled out. And for the North America regions, it would already have been enabled from April 1st. And some features like the generation of an email that would that is most likely to be rolled out towards this year, October.
Okay. I see one last question. If anyone else has any final questions, let us know. I do see one more question here. In terms of some similar. I think they're asking what resources, time, that's a little bit different. What resources, time, personnel, budget are required for a successful implementation?
For the Copilot, if you have purchased the Copilot license, then for the North America region, it would already be enabled by default. So we wouldn't need to do anything. So, but if you want to try out some features like the email generation, you would need to reach out to your system administration to set that up for you. But it is as easy as having a license and just turning it on.
Okay, awesome. So I think that's about it, unless anyone else has any final questions. Going once, going twice. Okay, cool. So in terms of the call today, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on learning more about Dynamics 365 for sales and Copilot. If your organization needs help with managing your data, let us know how we could help you use Dynamics 365 for Copilot to help manage that to improve your conversion rates. You can reach out to us at contact@beyondkey.com. I am trying to put that in the messages, and for some reason it's not working. Let's see, there we go. So I just put that in chat as well, but feel free to reach out to us. Let us know what questions you have. We're here to help you, and I just want to thank everyone for attending today. It was great having you on this call, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. With that said, have a great day and a better week. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.